touch. Welcome back to 5 Elements Tactical. Self-defense, home defense, prepping, and survival. Today we're back in the dojo, but it's not for a self-defense video or any sort of like fighting or weapons video. It's actually to take some of our bushcraft and survival skills, which does a lot of like knot tying and rope work, to fix one of the pieces of equipment that we use in the dojo for, we're doing like getting one of our fighters ready, or just physical conditioning type of stuff. So if you've never seen this, it's called a battle rope. And a battle rope is just a really long, thick, heavy rope. And you wrap it around, we usually wrap it around a heavy bag, and there's all different exercises you do with it to really just like get your heart pounding and your shoulders tired and your arms strong and all that type of stuff. This one's been out of commission for a while because we've had it a long time and we have abused the hell out of it. And it used to come with some sort of a plastic dip, rubber dipped, whatever type of handle, which we lost a long time ago. This end had been taped up, which was working okay, but not the same as a grip. And this side is all sorts of jacked up. So today, we're gonna fix it using some paracord. All right, stay with me. What's up, warriors? This is Kyoshi, Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you found your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and the little thing where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops, and you get all sorts of cool content from here as well. All right, so real quick, off the bat, the tools or the items that you're going to need for this are, I'm using paracord or 550 cord. It's the rope that they use. I'm pretty sure it started out as the rope that attaches the parachute to the harness of somebody jumping out of a plane, and its tensile strength is 550 pounds. It comes in a million different colors. People use it for making bracelets and lanyards and all sorts of cool stuff. I get it in 100-foot lengths, and I just knot them up into this donut-looking thing because it's easy to dispense from here. It's a little bit of a nuisance to tie it into this thing, but it's very therapeutic, for me anyway. And it holds it nice and neat, and it goes into my bag or whatever real easily. I went with red because in the dojo our mat is red. The red, black, white, that's the color of our patch and our logo and stuff like that. So you're going to need some paracord, obviously the rope that you're going to fix. And before we get started, you could use this to fix any sort of rope. So if you've got like a tow cable, or in bushcraft and like survival training and woodsman skills, we use this really for if you're going to take a rope and you want to make it shorter, or you want to take a piece with you and you have a whole lot left. In paracord, you just kind of cut the end and use a lighter to burn it and seize the end so it doesn't become frayed. If you have some other type of cord, you use what's called a whipping, which I'm going to show you today. I have a whole nother video on it. I'll put it up around here, I think, or this side, whatever. I'll put a link to it. So if after this you want to see how a whipping works, feel free to check that out, and it'll help you make this hopefully make more sense. But use a whipping to basically, you're going to take a piece of rope or cord that will fray, use a thinner piece of cord to kind of wrap the end and put like similar to what's on the end of your shoelaces, that plastic coating that helps you feed it through the eye holes when you're going to lace up your shoes. So we're going to kind of create that with this, and I'm just going to make it long enough that it acts as a handle as well, because paracord has a pretty cool texture to it. So I'm going to use paracord. I have a knife, obviously, to cut the paracord, and I'm hoping that this is be good enough to cut this rope, which I haven't tried to cut yet. I have an even sharper, like a box cutter, which I may or may not use. I like to have a set of pliers or some sort of multi-tool handy, because in case I need to, you'll see at the end, you got to kind of pull the cord through to cinch it all together. And if you don't leave enough cord, you're probably going to need this to kind of get a hold of something and really pull on it nice and tight. But that's it for now. So right now, this side is pretty good to go. It's been working all along until this one got all sorts of jacked up. But because I'm a little OCD with certain things, and especially in the dojo, a dojo is a martial arts school in case you didn't know that, I want things to match, so that's why I went with the red. I need it to match, and because I'm going to do one side, I'm going to wind up doing both sides. So I'll get this one out of the way for now, and we'll get to the problematic end first. So of course, this is like long gone. In order to try and fix this, I'd have to twist. It's not worth it, and I'm not even sure that it would come out good. So what I'm going to do is, just so it makes sense, basically this is 3 pieces of cord, right? And each one of those cords is made up of God knows how many strands are in this. So each of the cords is twisted really, really tight, and then they're all twisted back together to make this rope. And the part where it seems like It's loose here, and it's good, it's good, it's good. It's getting loose. It's gone. So what I'm going to do is, at the end of where it's still good, I'm going to twist it extra tight so that I hopefully hold it like keep it from like unwinding or having this sort of problem anywhere else in the line. And I'm just going to use paracord. Now again, ordinarily whipping is about, let's say this is 2 inches thick. You're whipping, your lashing, or whipping as it's called, should be about half the diameter to the full diameter. So anywhere from like 1 inch to 2 inches, what would really be great just to hold this in place. But since I want to use it as a handle, I want it to be at least, I'm not the biggest guy in my school, so I'm sure there's some dudes in here with bigger hands than I got. So I'm going to try to make it about, I don't know, 6 inches-ish. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my cord, and again, because of the way I have this set up in a donut, it just dispenses and it stays because it's just a series of loops. So I'm going to go, I don't know, maybe 20 feet, 10, 15, 20, and again, I could always use less. You know, once you start doing this, you can't put more on, but you could always cut the extra off and either throw it out or use it for something else. So now, anytime you're going to be working with paracord, just to make your life easier, you cut the paracord, you take a lighter, it'll start to melt, and there's all different ways to do it. You could mash it into the side of the lighter, and you could just kind of just roll it on itself. You can lick your fingers or dip your fingers in some water or something, because it is hot. All right, so now we have about 20 feet of paracord. And again, there may be more than I needed. Hopefully it's at least as much as I needed. And now the way a whipping works is you basically take a loop, right? And what I need is for this loop that I make, it's called a bite in knot tying. And I want the length, this length, to be at least as long as the whipping I'm trying to make, so that when I'm done with the whipping, there's a little bit of a loop at the top. So what I do is I fold it over itself. I'm going to lay it on the thing I'm trying to fix, and I take the rest and I just wrap it around as tight as I can, working my way up to the top. I need to leave some loop at the end, and I need to leave some tail at the bottom. That's the short of this. When I make my bite and I lay it on the thing I'm going to fix, I need to have some loop at the end, and I need to have some tail at the bottom. So I basically want to take whatever length of line I want to make and put the bite 2 or 3 inches or 4 inches just past that. So I'll have 2 inches of loop above it and 2 inches of tail at the very least below it. So for me, I'm looking to make a, I don't know, 6-inch bite. So there's my couple inches up top. I have a little bit extra on the bottom. That's actually not a bad thing. So there. Okay. What you could do is to make this easier so that it becomes like a spool. We hank it. The way to hank a line so that you get the tangles out and it becomes easy to feed is I start with it between my these fingers, and I wrap around my thumb, my pinky, thumb, pinky, thumb, pinky, thumb, pinky. And what will happen is it'll become easy where it shouldn't get tangled on itself. It should kind of like, once I get it started, it'll feed pretty easily from itself. Okay, so back to my handle. I want it to be, I don't know, as wide as my biggest student's hand. I'm going to guess it's around there. So there's my bite. I need a couple inches of tail at the end, and let's make it a little bit longer. That looks good. Good. All right, now when I go to do this, remember I'm going to twist this as tight as I can, and I'm going to try and keep it twisted that tight the whole time. I'm going to start down here, and all I do is I take my line, and I'm going to make this as tight as I can, man. Leave the tail. I think the hardest one is just your first one, getting it started, and then it's a matter of just keeping the loops tight to each other. Okay. Each time I pass it around, I'm going to really pull on it as tight as I can. And if you notice, I'm trying to keep the cord like coiled really tight around the rope and really tight to itself as I work my way up the line. I do a wrap or two, I pull it tight. I do a wrap or two, and I pull it tight. Okay, so now I have this tail at the end. I have this loop at the top. The handle is plenty wide. It's wider than my hand. And again, because it's not rubber or anything like that, you can still see like the texture of the rope beneath it. But the purpose of the exercise part of it is to develop your grip strength. So I kind of like how that looks and feels. So now at the end, what you do is you just take you have your loop, you have your tail. I feed the remainder of the cord through there. And the purpose of the loop is what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull on this, which it's so tight and there's not a whole lot of tail left, that I'm going to use my pliers to, as I pull this, it pulls a loop into the cord, okay? Now, if you can see this or not. Yeah. Now, if that's not going to come out, man, it's like trapped in there. So now what I do is I cut the end of the line off on this end. And I cut it as close to that spot as I can. On this side, I do the same thing. It's in there, so like I'm not even really concerned. If I want to make it look neat, I'm just going to seize the end, burn it till it melts, push it on itself. That's hot. Make it smooth, make it neat. Same thing down here. I just use the lighter to, again, seize the end. All right, so the next part is just cutting off the end of the line. Like this, yeah, it's good. It's good. See, I can't unravel it. That's what I was shooting for. I should probably still put something underneath it. The one thing you want to be careful with this is that you don't want to cut the paracord. I don't want to cut the whipping itself, you know? And honestly, I can't wait to throw out the rest of this because it's such a mess and it's just been There you go. A little bit of a mess. And there's some parts in here that feel like a little, I don't know, sharp or whatever. So with this, I would really, I'm not going to do it indoors. Oh, I guess we'll see. I'd rather do this actually with like a blowtorch or something, or a bigger, stronger flame, and a brick would be great. The damn smoke alarm's gonna go off. Again, because I want it to look right. I'm indoors. I'd rather do this. Get in there. All right. Boom. You have to leave some rope on the end because like that's what this is wrapped around. So if I go too short, then what's going to happen is like I almost want to mushroom it out. When I melt it, I'm not going to push it in. I'm going to push it out. And there's your whipping. We'll do the other side. This goes in the garbage. I'm going to keep this over here just so that when I do it, I can kind of measure against it to make sure that my handles are the same length or, you know, same whatever. Again, because I'm a little OCD with that stuff. This side is much easier because I could like just go like this around the end, whereas the other one I had to feed it over, pull it through, feed it over, pull it through, because there was so much, you know, damaged rope along the line, which this is already going much faster. And I could keep it tighter as I'm winding it, which is nice too. Okay. Nice. So now I feed this same thing. I feed this through. This end, it's tight. less left over. Well, that was easy. Garbage. Seize it. And where I would ordinarily roll it, like pinch it in to make it look nice, you know, like to round it in, this I'm going to kind of flare it out. So either it seizes to the paracord or like almost like bubbles over, mushrooms out. That's good enough for now. I'm going to call that one a win. It was, I'm glad I was able to use the red paracord, which you could pick up from the store or online. $5 a roll for 100 feet, maybe $10. Again, it's if you're not using it to jump out of a parachute, if you're using it for survival stuff, like we use it for our ridge line and a lot of other things like out in the field, then of course you want to make sure you're getting good 550 cord. If you're just using it for something like this, or making bracelets with it that you're not going to be untying to use to potentially save yourself in the woods, then it doesn't matter. But again, if you want to, if you're going to be using it for that purposes, go with the good stuff, and maybe it'll cost you $10 or even $15 a roll. But again, this is not necessarily just for fixing a battle rope. Yeah, it worked. I'm happy with how that came out, and for I probably paid $5 or $10 for that, as opposed to battle ropes are very expensive. Like they're like, I don't know, maybe $100, $80, $90. And yeah, I lost a couple of feet off the length of the rope, but just do it faster, do it harder, and train harder, and you'll make up for the lack of, maybe it'll fit better in the room maybe now, I don't know. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you gotta have it, make sure you hit the bell notification button and the little thing where it says all notifications so that YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find me on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. That's all I got for now, Warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.